What if I told you that 5 years ago I was unknowingly used as a government wine narc? But today, I'm going to set the record straight in probably one of my favorite wine stories. So, what's up, guys? My name is Schmeich from Board to Door, a bar I co-founded with my mates 5 years ago. So 5 years ago, we don't have a bar. It's the middle of the pandemic, and Susie sets us up a trip to Somlo. She writes to this woman named Ava who has a wine shop and says, hey, we want to try some wine. What do you think? And Ava said, no, it's the middle of a pandemic. What are you, crazy? And Susie writes back, hey, we got a new company. We got the paperwork. We're allowed to do R&D. So Ava writes back, okay, I set you up with a few places. Come on down. First place we go to, Istvan Spiegelberg. The dude's a savage. His wine's unbelievable. He takes us on a journey from 2006 to present, a vertical tasting of everything he made. It was ludicrous, tasty, and we got a bit drunk, okay? Here's another thing about Istvan. He used to be a BMW test pilot, so he whipped around the top of the mountain as he took us to our next tasting in the middle of a sleet storm, unbridled by fear. He's a wild man. I love him to death. Istvan, you're the best. And he took us to a place called Cafe 2. Now, here's something that he said along the way, though. He felt a little isolated. You know, he had won an award from Decanter and no one paid attention. He felt like everyone in those little mountains kind of working hard on themselves. They don't work well together. They're a bit salty wine by salty people, as I say, but otherwise, like, they're lovely. And when we went to Cafe 2, I felt the love again. They put out a huge spread. It was incredible, all this food and wine, and they asked nothing of us. They were sweet. And me being the tipsy person that I am, late at night, I had to ask, why are you guys so nice to us? The middle of the pandemic, you guys are struggling to kind of like make ends meet. You don't work well together. What is it about us that makes you want to be nice? And the young girl looked me straight in the face and said, well, because Ava told us you were the cops. And I had this light bulb moment of why would she do that? But I get it. That's why everyone's being nice to us, because they think we are the police, which we are not. So the next day we got to meet Ava, and I said, Ava, what's the deal? Why would you do that to us? And she said, well, Susie wrote me an email. Susie's name is Suzanne Collins, right? Here's the thing I know about the NAV or the tax authorities. They're idiots. They always come in pairs, and they always use foreign names. And I said, these guys can't even spell Collins right. They put a G in it. And we just burst out laughing because Susie's name is Suze Collins, and we're not NAV, and we're just regular people going in the middle of a pandemic to climb a pure basalt mountain to taste wine for R&D. Who would believe something like that? Ava didn't. And the only reason I remember this story is because a few days ago I put out a UFARC video, and Ava wrote to me and she said, wow, what a great video about UFARC. If you're ever interested in learning more, you should come to my wine shop. So I sent her a voicemail saying, hey Ava, you probably don't remember me, but I remember you. Here's what happened. She laughed. She said, wow, I'm so embarrassed, but also so happy. You guys have done so well. Congratulations on your success. So all in all, like, one of my favorite stories is being remembered as a police officer in Somlo on a cold night where Istvan Spiegelberg is whipping through the mountains with no lights, hail coming down, a BMW test driver, and me hammered just going, whatever happens, happens. Here we are 5 years later, still drinking Somlo, still drinking about all these amazing winemakers and their wine, still pumping Hungary as hard as I can. So, if you don't know Istvan Spiegelberg, get his wine. If you don't know Cafe 2, get their wine. And if you haven't met Ava in Somlo, best volcanic wine shop in the entire country, maybe the whole world, look her up. She's amazing.